Okay, so looks like I have it bolted down pretty good. I bolted from crossways like this, from corner to corner. Let's see, I have my springs attached. Here's my kick down lever, which works pretty good. And I have my throttle cable hooked up. It works good, just like the old one. And let's see, I have my electric choke hooked up, and in the back I have my vacuum gauge. It goes to the dash hooked up. But here is one of my problems that I have, and it's always been a problem, and I'm gonna see what I can do to figure this out. This whole thing, fuel line, came in a kit, but it's always been way too long. Must have been for a big block or something, and I'm not sure, but the part number, I checked it, it was, they do say for a small block. Now I can force it on like that, but it coils up the fuel line there on the front, and I don't know if I liked it. I'd like to get it a lot shorter so it's not so tight. So kind of like right there would be good. But looks like I gotta take like 6 inches off of this line, and I've never worked with these type of lines before, but let's see what I can do. Well, I'm gonna take this apart, see what I can do. I'm not sure how to work on these. I've seen a few YouTube videos on it, but I've never done this myself. So let's take a look here. I guess I need to learn. So this, of course, is the part that attaches to the carburetor. Okay. And this is a filter, which I don't know. Can you clean these things? And then here's the line that I need to try to shorten up, so I'm not sure. Five-eighths. I need it. It looks like this comes apart right there. I'm a little worried if I take it apart, put it back together, it'll leak. Because I'm also gonna make a video on my old carburetor, and when I take the top off, I've already taken it off, and it is incredibly corroded and dirty. Super shocked about that, because I have two filters. I have one over on the fuel tank, and then I have this one, so I'm not sure why it's like that, but that'll be forthcoming as well. But in the meantime, I want to take this off and see if it does. Otherwise, I'll be buying a new one. Okay, I got it loose. And it's coming off slowly, which tells me there's probably a ring gasket right there. I have some silicone oil. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on there first. This here is some silicone oil that I use. I'm very careful with this. I don't use it very often at all, because you don't want to get once silicone gets on your hands and you touch the paint on your car, you'll always have a spot right there. So you have to make sure you wash your hands when you're done. But what I'm gonna do is, because I just don't know, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on here. The reason I use silicone is because if there's a rubber gasket right there, if it's rubber, it shouldn't hurt it. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's turning slowly. Let me get just a little bit more on there. You can see I already have it on my skin, so I'll have to be really careful, make sure I wash my hands good. Okay, yeah, sure enough, there's an O-ring there. See if you can see that. So, oh, wow, look at that. You can see some grit and stuff in there, which I am really surprised. Now, how do you get that out? Like that, I guess. So that's the filter. And I am surprised to see anything on it all. Boy, what a small, I was expecting something larger than that. Let me get a light. So yeah, you can see, and the other thing is I have a new fuel line, steel line. I also have a brand new fuel tank, well, 2017, brand new. So surprised is all. And then you can see a little bit of grit in there as well. So anyway, we're going to clean this out and put it back together, and I hope that this seal right here is going to be okay. I don't see any tears or cracks. It feels good on my finger. So let's clean it up and see how it goes. By the way, I did forget to mention that and I'll show it to you, on the connection at the carburetor, there's also another filter. It'd be easy to miss. I'll go get that in a second. Yeah, that's not coming out very well. Let me get my air compressor set up. Okay. Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay, that's pretty clean. So what I also wanted to show you was, this goes on here onto the carburetor like so. And there's this little screen right here for another filter. Now, something else to keep in mind is on the carburetor itself, this one is just like the other one, and you'll see way down in there another little filter that I don't know where it goes, but I'm sure it fills up this bowl here or something. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, but just be aware that there's a filter in there, a tiny one, a screen, I should say, right here. And then I have this filter, and then I have a filter behind my on my fuel tank. So anyway, let's keep pushing forward here. Well, right or wrong, I've put just a tiny bit film of silicone grease on this gasket before I install it. I don't want that to mix with the fuel, of course. keep my hands clean, and then I'm going to put the filter back in. Again, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger filter. That's all right. And then, of course, we're going to reattach this and slowly, hopefully, that will not deform. Again, I'm just going to go slow. Glad I put that silicone grease on there. It helps slide it in better. There we go. Okay. Well, that wasn't that hard. I am going to put just a little bit more torque on it. All right. There it is. It's all cleaner anyway. Well, here goes. I'm going to take this off. My thinking is I can cut this and put this back together. And I do know that this will fray really easily, so you got to be careful. So cross that bridge as it comes. You know, worst comes to worst, I ruin this thing. I'll just buy one the right length or go to a rubber hose, which I have a big roll of fuel line. So let's see what happens here. That feels like it's tightening it. Well, clearly, I need more training. Well, it's coming apart. I'm going to shoot just a tiny bit of oil in there. I don't know. Those of you who are well experienced at these things, there's a good chance you're probably cringing. Could be. Okay, let's see. Whoa, look at that. What's some fine thread? I think it feels like paper. So, certainly, okay, there it is. Now to put it back on, I think, let's see, I probably put it back on that same way. Now, a little worried about that. There's a lot of wear in there. I hope this is reusable. I hope. Not sure. Okay, so now what I need to do is figure out the length that I want and take it from there. So I have the steel section in place, and you can see I have it going underneath the carburetor there. And so now I'm going to screw in my filter. And it looks like probably right about there. Shouldn't be any problem with any movement. And it looks like right about here is where I need to take some off. So let's see, probably right about here, I think, right about there. I think. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. I put some pretty strong electrical tape, wrapped it around there, and then I've clamped this pretty good. And now I'm going to make my cut right there, and then take this off and take the tape off and try to put this on right here. At least that's my plan. That's what I've come up with. See the end. It's hard to see with the light, but the end is right pushing against a little shelf inside this. So I know I have it right. So now this needs to go on. Here. Right here. Find the right wrench. 11/16. Okay, so what I did is I had this little tiny vise that I use for this and that. I'm going to try to push this, make sure that this doesn't come off, this ferrule, as I tighten this up. So I'm putting pressure on this way, at the same time trying to screw this on. It's moved a little bit. This clamp seems to help out. Okay, I think that's about as far as I can go. And I was trying not to nick that, but I did. Let's put it in the vise one more time. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. All right, there we have it. So you can see my Sharpie mark right there. It didn't move that much. Thanks for watching, John.